What's up, Liquid Trucking? Welcome into the Liquid Trucking Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus. As always, thank you so much for being here. We are firing off episode 71 over your bow today, and I'm very excited. The content in this episode has a very special place in my heart, as of recently especially, so we'll get to that in just a second. One thing that I want you to know about today that's going to be a very important part of this whole thing is the website. Head on over to liquidtrucking.com. Right at the top of the page, you'll see the podcast banner. It's got a picture of me. It will grab you, and it's not because I'm like some cut out of stone Adonis dude. I've heard the joke levied in my direction more times than once that I kind of have a face for radio, so maybe it grabs you in a way. It doesn't matter. As long as it grabs you, click that. It'll take you to the podcast landing page, and that's really where we're trying to get you today. You're familiar with the podcast landing page because that's where we put all of our pictures of our vets for Vets Day. That's where we hosted the whole March Madness bracket where you could go on, join the group, and compete for cash. And now on the website, you will be able to find a gallery of road art. And by road art, we're talking driver tattoos. First of all, through all my travels here on the podcast, I've built a lot of great relationships with a lot of great drivers at Liquid Trucking. And always willing to build more. So don't think that my cup runneth over at this point, as it doesn't. Every driver that wants to build that relationship starts texting with me or anything like that, I'm all for it, man. I love to get a peek behind the curtain of what goes on in your guys' daily lives, how you approach the job, how you claim victory over the job, how you spend your time at home, whatever you want to talk about. I'm just kind of a student of conversation, so I love to get into chats with you guys. And in some of my chats with many Liquid drivers, what I realized is that a lot of them have some ink, and some of them have a metric shit ton of ink, but they like to show it off, just like anybody with tattoos. What I love about the tattoo community is that it's one of those weird aesthetic communities because it's all based on what we see, right? I guess there's probably some weird textured tattoos out there, but it's not much of a tactile thing. You're looking at it. It's not making any sounds. You're looking at it. If you licked it, it might taste different. I don't know. Haven't tried it. But I just licked my tattoo on my arm. Tastes exactly like another part of my arm without a tattoo. So again, this is all 100% visual. And what I like about the tattoo community at large is that it isn't one of those communities where only the top 1% of really, really good-looking people get the attention. You can have amazing tattoo artwork on any body, and I love that because it's a very inclusive feel. All right, I'm not a guy that likes to hang out with my shirt off very often. Just kind of self-confident, never really enjoyed looking at myself in the mirror. But one thing that I've noticed is the more tattoos that I've tacked on here in the last year or so, the less that I care about what the body looks like, and the more I just kind of want to show off the artwork. For a couple of reasons. A, it's important to me. I like what I got, and it's special to me. It means something. But B, I happen to be a very fortunate individual that has a tattoo artist living in his house. My wife, as you probably know on this podcast, we've talked about it a few times, recently became a tattoo artist within the last year. She's been an artist her whole life. She's phenomenal. Actually, as we sit here and record this on the 24th of March, on the 23rd, which is a Sunday and was her day off, I was in getting some color added to some new ink. Look, I get it. I love it. I think it's a really cool thing. I think the stories behind tattoos are always very intriguing to me. I'm not one of these people that can go in and flip through a flash book and be like, yeah, I want that one. No, you got to give that book to me. I got to go home, and I might need to spend upwards of a year with it to figure out what the relevance is to me. All of the things that I have tattooed on my body are very relevant to me as an individual. Many of them having to do with my musical endeavors. The first tattoos I got were shortly after my 18th birthday. It was winter of 2002, I believe. And the state wrestling championships were happening in Portland, Oregon. I did not qualify for state my senior year because I was never a good wrestler. And even if I would have qualified for state, I probably would have politely declined and let them take somebody that was more deserving than me. Okay, but I loved to go to state wrestling with the wrestlers and support them. A lot of the times the team would let us tag along, get us hotel rooms and such. My sister was attending college at Oregon State University in Corvallis, which is just about an hour south of Portland. She came up to see me in Portland, and my birthday present from her was one tattoo after I turned 18. I was barely able to talk my dad into allowing me to get that tattoo. His stipulation was you can have a tattoo as long as if you're wearing a short sleeve t-shirt and shorts, I can't see it. So he didn't want it he didn't want it visible because he was worried that I would not be able to get a job if I had visible tattoos like down on my arms or something like that, which I think is funny because in 2002, that was a completely relevant concern. In 2025, I could get a face tattoo and still work corporate, okay? So it's weird how times change, but I also think that's cool because it's becoming more a part of the mainstream culture. It's a lot more common now to see people with visible tattoos all over the place. But my first one, I called my dad again and I said, listen, I've got some money saved up. If I can afford it, can I get a matching one on the other arm? Because that's really all I wanted was, I dig the symmetry. I don't know why, but I'm really big into symmetry, and I didn't like when they put the stencil on my right arm. I didn't like how it looked with just one. I wanted one on both shoulders, so called up Dad, did a little bit of convincing, and talked him into it. And just a few short hours later, I had two red and black nautical stars, one on each kind of upper bicep, right up by my shoulder. And the reason I went with the nautical stars is because every single person in punk rock that I loved had nautical stars tattooed on them. I don't really know what the significance is. What I know is that I thought it looked cool and it was punk rock to me, or pop punk, or whatever you want to call it. And so that's what I went with. The rest of the tattoos I have 3 more besides that. I have a couple of band logos from bands that I've been in because they're very important times in my life. And then I'm just getting an Oregon Ducks tattoo on my left calf. It got it worked on yesterday. Got some color in it. Looks really good, but I don't want to be posting pictures until there's a final product. So as soon as we get that one done, I'll make sure and get the pictures up there so you guys can see it. But for now, you can head over to liquidtrucking.com and hit up the podcast landing page, and you can look at a ton of pictures that drivers have sent me of their tattoos. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, damn, I want to get my tattoo up in that gallery, send it over, podcast@liquidtrucking.com. It's that simple. We'll be taking them here. I'll leave that up there for a few weeks down the road because I think it's really cool, and I know you guys love to show off your tattoos. So I have 4 drivers joining me today, all of them inked up in some fashion or another. Some have a lot of ink, and I mean a lot. Others, not that much, but still very interesting and intriguing stories behind them. I'm going to ask them about where they got the tattoos, why they got them, what it means to them, and towards the end of the interview, we'll talk about the one thing that everybody thinks about when you talk about tattoos, and that is the pain. What was the most painful one? Where's it at on your body? And how can I avoid ever wanting to get a tattoo there? That's pretty much the tall and the short of the conversation. It's a fun one, and it runs kind of long. So this is going to be a longer episode because at the end, before we jump into the interview here, I do want to tease this real quick. At the end of this interview, we'll go to the normal outro that you're pretty used to hearing that wraps up the show. But before we get to the total show wrap, I want you to stick around for the end because we launched, the company I work for launched a live stream for truck drivers this last week, which would have been March 19th. It's called the Rubberside Down Podcast. You can find the page Rubberside Down on Facebook. Join it, and you'll see we're going to be going live once a month, doing a bit of a variety show. A lot of you Liquid drivers checked into the first one. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for supporting our endeavors. We're going to have a lot of fun on that show, just like we do on this one, so I encourage you to check it out. But that's not really what I want to tell you about here. With doing a live stream like this for truck drivers, anytime a truck driver is in need, we're going to do everything that we can to help them, just like we would on this show. And we kind of got to double dip on this one because I got a call from Jason Eisenman, of course, VP of HR and Safety at Liquid Trucking, and he said, hey, we had a driver who lives in Oklahoma whose house was completely destroyed and all of his worldly possessions completely destroyed in a brush fire. And we've got a GoFundMe started for him. I wonder if I can't come on your live stream with him and talk a little bit about the situation. I said, Jason, 100%, absolutely, let's do it. We want to help this guy out, this guy being Aaron DeFore, Liquid Driver. What I'm going to do today, rather than getting those guys to come and give even more time than they already have and upset their day, I'm just going to replay the interview that we did on the Rubberside Down podcast right here on the Liquid Trucking podcast today, right after we get done with the interview and the drivers talking about their tattoos. Aaron and Jason come on the show. They talk about what happened. They talk about how you can help. They talk about just how great the community of truck driving is and how they really tend to step up in times like these. So please stay tuned to the end of the episode. All the information you're going to need on how you can help Aaron will be there. I will make sure to link the GoFundMe website in the description of the podcast. So it will be there wherever you find this podcast episode 71, of course, of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Okay, I've been rambling. This episode's already going to be really long, so let's get to our interview about road art with 4 Liquid drivers.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
Welcome back to the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Super excited about this. Every time that I'm about to bring a bunch of drivers in, one thing I want everybody listening to this podcast to know is that it might be that some of the most fun we'll get to have today has already happened because we have these great little conversations before we actually come on the air a lot of times. But those also give way to a lot of the things that we end up talking about. And today, I've got 4 drivers here with me, and that's sort of what happened. First, I've got 3 drivers right now joining us from Home Time, which they did not have to do, okay? This is up to them. It's their decision. I really appreciate the fact that these guys are joining us on their own time here. So let's welcome the guys that are not working and joining us on their off time first and foremost. I got Matt Cleach here. Matt, how's it going at home, dude? I appreciate the extra time you're giving us here.
Good, just enjoying the sun.
Sun?
And maybe a few beers. I don't know.
Okay, well, have you drank so many beers that you're seeing the sun? I thought you guys were getting hammered over there.
Well, that storm passed, and unfortunately it missed Omaha and went on to other directions. But, yeah, it's over now. We just got cloudy skies and a little bit of wind, but it's sunny now. We got electricity back at 2:40 last night.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. You and I were on the phone yesterday, and the electricity was slated to be out for something like 7 days, so that's really good news.
Yep, they still got areas that are affected real hard in this neck of the woods. It hit hard.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to hear you got the lights back on, and I'm glad to hear there's tall, cool ones in your fridge. Also joining us from Home Time, we've got Mike Stanfield. We also know him as Redbeard around here. What's up, Mike? Appreciate you joining us from Home Time, man.
What it do? Yeah, it's all good, man. I appreciate you, working around my schedule here. So, I'm just kind of chilling.
Well,
I like a villain.
I like to be as transparent as possible on this podcast, Mike. So I'm going to add to that a little bit. You just thanked me for working around your schedule, but this morning you sent me a text message and I told you, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't work around it. And you said, it's fine, we'll just go with the normal time. I think this is you working around my schedule, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
thank
true.
you.
That's true. Yeah, no problem, man.
I do appreciate it, man. Also joining us from Home Time, we've got Michael Donut Duncan. What's up, Donut? Thanks for being here on your Home Time, man. How's it going out there?
It's going pretty good. Like playing computer games, hanging out, watching movies with the household. So
perfect. I mean, that sounds like a great Friday to me. Finally, joining us from out on the road and maybe biting his teeth or gritting his teeth a little bit at this moment is Drew Hearn. Drew, thanks for being here, man. What do you think when you're out on the road and all these guys are kicking their heels up at home?
Part-timers.
Them are fighting words. Them are fighting words in this industry. You got to be careful, man.
Wow. Hey,
I'm ready. Yo, they know where to meet me. I ain't at home, and I ain't at Pardo, and I ain't at OFC. I'm actually out there working.
Hey, does Corey work you a little hard there, Drew?
Oh, all the time. You know, he has to put his best man out on the road while the rest of you guys.
Oh, you better hope that you. Wow. I remember my first part-time job, and I had to make an impression for management.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll soak it up. That's all right.
Oh, man.
I earned my home
don't worry,
time.
because you know what? Next Friday, my tech will be nicer than yours anyway. So enjoy
Okay.
that lukewarm beer.
Ooh.
Hey, the cold ones are going down pretty good, too. There you go.
Yeah, you know, the only reason they're lukewarm, Drew, is because he's worked his way through the cold ones, okay? And he just didn't restock, so...
He can't keep the fridge stocked fast enough.
Yeah, that's a home time
I think-
problem.
You know, Drew, after all the help we worked together on all that hydrochloric acid, and this way you're going to treat me?
Hey, you know what? I had a bad experience with that, so I'm just going to talk it up as that never happened at all.
Well, fellas, appreciate you all being here today. This is going to be a fun one, and that's kind of why I figured we could start it out a little bit loose here. We are here to talk today about everyone's tattoos, and we're calling the show episode Road Art because it's kind of strange to me, but I've always noticed in my work with truck drivers and also going way back before that the trades are an industry that you find a lot of guys getting tatted up in, and they're very proud of the tattoos. They like to show them off. I know a lot of truck drivers that have tattoos, including you four gentlemen that are here today, and I kind of figure let's just jump in and start talking about it. Now, I had this conversation shortly with Matt yesterday while we were setting up the interview. My wife has just become a tattoo artist. She's probably 6 to 8 months into actually practicing and having her license and having a spot at a shop. She's getting really good really fast. But she's only done 3 tattoos on me to this point because obviously there's not all the time in the world to do free tattoos. She does have to do them at the shop. We can't do them here at home. So I'm on my way to being one of these dudes that's totally inked up from head to toe, but I'm not there yet. That's why I wanted to bring you guys in, and one of you guys I've seen a lot of pictures of, and so that's where I'm going to start, is you, Mike Stanfield, Redbeard, sorry. You sent me a picture yesterday, dude. Your back, there is not a single centimeter of skin on your back that is not inked in one way, shape, or form. It's a beautiful tattoo. Looks like it's still in progress. Talk to me about that back piece a little bit before we get on to some of the rest of them.
I appreciate that. You know, I did almost 10 years in prison, and when you're in prison, you got to kind of do things that, you don't want to do, like get clicked up, and that means getting inked up. So I have 1, 2, 3 other ones that were covered up for free as well from a really nice dude out here in Springfield.
That's awesome. That's a really cool thing that he's doing. Now, I imagine that was a self-preservation thing for you, because I've known you for a long time now, going back, I think over a year at this point since we first met and did podcasts together. And you and I have had some conversations both on and off the air about this before.
Yeah, exactly. It's all self-preservation, brother.
It's nice to know that there's people out there that will do that type of work at like a discount or even for free. Very cool story there. I will come back to you because I know that you've got even more stories to tell, but I want to get some from some of the other guys here as well.
Sure.
Matt, let's go to you. You came, you called me last night. You said, hey, I got one that I'll talk about. First of all, how many do you have? Like, if there's only one you're going to talk about, you have 9. Okay.
I have 9.
So
9 basic tattoos.
So, what's the, do you have any, you say basic, there's some pretty basic ones out there. Like, you're not one of the guys that has the words, your name tattooed on a butt cheek, are you?
Maybe. I got one that says, don't enter here on my back.
Okay. Well, there we
go.
I have to ask. I really do.
It says I shit because I'm old. I don't know. No, basic tattoos, just a couple mile markers. I got my kids' names on me. They say never put anybody's name on you, but my kids are my life.
Yeah.
I got 4 of them. So, you know, they're mine. The DNA said so. The child support says so. You know, they're mine. So I got my kids' names on me, just in basic font, you know, nothing special. Just, it'll go with me when I die, and it's nothing special, you know. But the one that I'm probably the most proud of is the one that Tina and we recently got matching tattoos, me and my little woman. We're not married, because she don't like me that much. So, but
there's certain people that would say if that's the case that she likes you too much, Matt.
Right? So just basic tattoos is all they are, you know.
But that one, it means a little bit more to you because you feel like you got it done with your partner in crime there, I imagine.
Yeah, you know. So basically, what I have is I have a purple rose with a Queen's helm on top of it, and then, of course, Redbeard. You'll understand Mjolnir underneath. You know, so Tina's my queen. Her favorite color is purple, and Mjolnir's for the strength of everything that we've done together.
Okay.
You know, and that just means the world to me.
That's
nothing.
Really cool.
It's nothing explicit. It's nothing that I'm very proud of it. I'll show it all day long. Mjolnir. I've got an ace up my sleeve, but that Mjolnir and that helm and that rose is just my world.
Awesome.
You know, that means it. That's basic. It's just basic. I'll send you a picture of them there, Marcus, so you can see what they look like.
Absolutely.
You want to explain what Mjolnir is? Because some people don't know what Mjolnir is.
Mjolnir is a Norse mythology. Is Thor's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if you've watched any of the movies of Thor that exponentially ruin the reputation of anything that's real in this world, or anything that I believe, because I'm a very firm believer in Norse paganism, and I've lived my life that way. So Mjolnir is the strength of Thor, is what it is.
Very cool. Well, it sounds like a great tattoo, and I would love you to send me a picture of any of the tattoos that are in places where I won't see anything that I don't want to. Just putting that out there just in case. But and to any drivers listening too, email us your photos. We already had some come in. Matt McKellar sent in his tattoos. We're going to put all the tattoos that we get pictures of up on the website so that people that are listening to the episode can go out there, check out Everybody's Ink. I mean, that's why we all have it, right? Let's show it off. It's a very cool story that you told. I like that tattoos have meaning to people. I know a lot of people that can just go out and get something random on them. It's a 3-4 week process for me to decide what's going to go on my body before I actually can bite the bullet and go in there and have it done. So I like it when thought gets put behind it. You know, there's some fun ones where there's not a lot of thought that got put behind it, and it's cool. Like my wife has a ton of those already. But for me personally, I've got to have an attachment to it. And I also think that the rules are, Matt, you don't put any partner's name on your body. Kids, I think, are okay because they're always going to be your kids and they can't do anything about that. It's when the other person has a little bit of control in the situation. That's when things get hairy, right?
Yeah. You know, when I first got married there, Marcus, I got a tattoo on my chest. It's an Air Force symbol from 1974 when I was born, because I'm an Air Force brat, and I was born at the Air Force Academy in Colorado. And so I got some wings, and it said "My Little Fly Girl" because my ex-wife was going to go to the Air Force. And I've never changed it. You know, I've never changed it. I have thought about changing it, but I never have. So that's kind of one of those things that it used to carry a lot of meaning, but the most of it now is the fact that my dad served in the Air Force in 74 when I was born, so I keep the symbol up there.
Got it. Okay. Very cool. Well, send us the pictures. Appreciate you talking us through the stories there. Drew Hearn, let's get on to you, man. I sat in a room with you way back when we were first just dreaming up this podcast. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I was paying a bunch of attention, but I did notice the tattoos, so I'm glad that you called today. Talk me through some of your favorite ones and the ones that are the most meaningful to you.
Yeah, so I got 5 tattoos. My first one I actually got when I was 17 years old.
Ooh,
and
rule breaker.
My mom kind of disowned me after that because she's really Catholic, and you know, your body's is the Lord's body kind of thing. So
yep.
I had to talk my grandpa into signing a release form so I could get it. And it's a Black Panther with flames around it. And I hate it. It is. So it was the worst experience of my life. It was done at someone's kitchen table, and the dude I had to go to his apartment, and he was asleep, and I had to wake him up and run down the grocery store, get him a Diet Coke, and wait for him to get all set up and everything, and then he turned what was supposed to be like a really muscular Black Panther into a fat, chubby panther. So it wasn't the best experience, but it was my first tattoo, and I was only 17, so I really didn't care.
Sure. I want to tell you this real quick. There's a place in my local area here called Back Alley Tattoos. I actually feel like you got what is truly a back alley tattoo from that guy.
Yep.
I mean, if he'd have been sitting in the back of a van, it probably would have gone the same. Like, hang on, we got to run to CVS real quick. I need a Coke.
Right. And then, but my most favorite tattoo would be the one that is on my left forearm. It's a Reaper, and I kind of designed the whole thing and had this guy just pretty much draw what I had in my head.
Oh, cool.
And it's just a Grim Reaper with wings and skulls and souls inside of the wings. So kind of symbolizing, like, as he takes your soul, he traps them with him, kind of thing,
Yeah.
And that was also done at someone's kitchen table. And we were just sitting there taking shots of whiskey and rips from the bong, doing a tattoo. So, yeah, I was 18 when I got that one done. I got a couple of tattoos on the backs of both my hands. I got a skull with smoke all around it. That one was pretty cool. The tattoo artist that did that was in a shop, and he kind of just freehanded that one. I have a Vegvisir. I know I'm
Vegvisir.
Vegvisir. Yeah, I know I was butchering it. And I got that on the back of my hand, and it was kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. I wish I would have done a little bit more research on it and everything before I got it, but hey, I got it, so whatever. I just got one a couple of weeks ago on my leg, and that is kind of like a Western kind of skull thing. I actually sent you a picture of it, Marcus. So
yep, I did see the picture.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of that American traditional feel to it, like that kind of those traditional tattoos that pin-up models and Western, cowboys. You'd see a lot of them. I think it's called traditional. I don't know, but really good job on it, and I thought a really cool piece.
Yeah, the dude I got it from, it was also a spur of the moment kind of thing. I wasn't even supposed to be getting a tattoo done. My wife was getting her back piece worked on, and one of the guys that worked in the shop was just chilling and hanging out, and he was about ready to start drawing some stuff, and I was like, "You want to do a tattoo?" He's like, "Yep." And he's like, "I got this idea," and I was like, "Cool, pull it up." And the idea he had, it was more of like a Chicano style skull, and that really isn't like my style, because a little bit more traditional, like Mexican style.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dirty it up a little bit, and he drew that up, and I was like, cool, let's do it. And I wasn't even expecting to get a tattoo that day. I was just hanging out with the wife, and I walked out with a $350 tattoo.
Yeah, that'll happen, man. I'll tell you right now, one thing I know about it, just given my wife's experience, is if you got a tattoo artist sitting in a shop and they're getting ready to draw or paint or do anything, they'll jump at it if you tell them, do you want to do a tattoo? Because they're not getting paid for the drawing and the painting. They're only getting paid when the needle goes in the skin. And they're definitely all about it. In fact, they're sitting there licking their chops, hoping that you're going to get the bug while your wife gets worked on. So hook, line, and sinker, man. They got you, but you got a great tattoo out of the deal. So
yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of the cleaner ones I got. And I was quite surprised because the dude had only been tattooing for just under a year. He's a young guy. He's only like 24 years old. And I was looking at some of his other work, and give him another 10 years and he's going to be right up there with some of the best tattooers in the country.
That's awesome. Sure. Very cool. Well, keep his name in your pocket, because you never know when you're going to want a piece from a world-renowned tattoo artist that hooked you up when he was young. I mean, that's a really cool. Yeah. If he's that good, that's a really cool contact to have, Drew. So awesome.
Also, I know it's not like really big, but it's got a lot of detail into it, and it's a pretty decent size. And from start to finish, hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. In and out. Just
So yeah,
bang-up
he
job.
powered through it, and yeah, it's really good. I was like, damn, and so yeah, I felt pretty good about getting that one.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Okay, so on to you, Donut. Talk to us. Like, what are your favorite ones? How many do you have? What are the significance of some of your road art?
Well, I'm kind of like you, Marcus. Everything has to have like meaning to me. Everything from my jewelry to my tattoos. I have I wear a bunch of rings and stuff. Everybody's talking about their Mjolnir and their Vigisphere, and I have.
Hang on just a second. I think we got a child coming in that's wanting to say hi real quick.
No, that's you're good. Keep going. My grandkids just showed up, so you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
I thought I heard
Papa.
I thought I heard him trying to say Marcus, and I was like, well, hell, we're gonna let him say hi if he wants to. So sorry.
Yep. Hey, do you? Not to interrupt, but will you guys want to say hi to Marcus? Say hi, Marcus. Yeah. It's stuff. Go see Grandma. Go and see Grandma.
Hey, like I said, we got 3 drivers on home time today. We got to make room for stuff like this. They're seeing their families. They're having family time. So fun little interruption there and a very natural one. So love it.
Absolutely.
Love it. Donut, please continue. Sorry to interrupt you there, bud.
Okay. Yeah, but like my jewelry has I have Mjolnir as a ring and as a necklace. One of my partners, her family is Norse pagan, and her brother forged me my necklace.
Wow, that's cool.
But yeah, everything I wear either on my skin or as jewelry has to mean something to me. I only have one tattoo currently. It's a yin and yang on my right shoulder. I know that it's so basic first tattoo, but
what is it?
It's a yin and yang.
Yin yang.
Oh, yin yang.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I saying it wrong?
Yeah.
I've always said yin yang.
It depends on region, dialect.
Okay, so just say you're saying it wrong, because that's probably a safer thing to say. I'll butcher it even if you tell me how to say it right. So, but tell me why.
We're American.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll say it white. Okay, that's. You say it's a basic tattoo, but I also know that you like to have meaning behind it, so I'm guessing there's probably a deeper meaning than just you like the way it looked.
Yes. So instead of the traditional black and white, mine is actually violet and like a not quite royal blue, but a little lighter.
Mm-hmm.
My father is a martial artist, and he developed his own martial system that we practice. So with the Eastern philosophy wrapped up in the balance within the yin yang, I have, so that's why I went with that shape. My favorite color is violet, so that's why one part is violet. And my mama Julie, his wife, technically my stepmom, her favorite color is blue.
Ah, okay. So you're kind of mixing a bunch of different things into that one piece.
Yeah, it's for one side of my family. I have a thing about a thing for roses because my grandmother loved them and everything. And one of my foster moms, her name was Rosa. I have a deep connection to roses, so I have a bunch of tattoo ideas. And I have a savings account set up specifically for my tattoos.
Nice, man. So how, you don't have to give us an actual number, but are you stacking that thing up to be able to afford like many tattoos?
And there's one piece that's an arm sleeve starting on my left wrist, going up and over my left shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a memorial tattoo for my foster mom, Rosa, on the left side of my chest, and opposite of the tattoo for my father's side of the family is going to be a memorial. Is going to be a tattoo for my mother's side.
Okay, so you're probably looking at like multiple thousands of dollars that you're going to need in that savings account before all that work gets done.
Yeah,
that's cool though that you're planning it out like that. At least you know what's coming. Drew didn't even know he was going to have a tattoo until just like 5 minutes before it happened.
I actually have an artist lined up doing she's done the mock-up drawings for all of my tattoos. I have an arm sleeve up into the shoulder and chest work. I have a right leg tattoo that she's mocked up for me, and I have a memorial tattoo for my little brother, which I've talked about on the podcast before.
Yep, very cool.
The memorial tattoo is going to be Barney dressed up as the Undertaker from WWE.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Good. There's nothing better than a good memorial tattoo, especially if it has, a deep meaning, which obviously we heard the story. That one's going to have a ton of meaning to you. Probably going to be a pretty heavy day when you finally get that one done, I would assume.
Yes. My mother has a memorial tattoo for him it's a Precious Moments angel with a t-shirt that says Mommy's Little Angel.
Oh yeah.
On the thing.
I think I have that Christmas ornament, if I'm not mistaken. My mom used to get us Precious Moments every year when we were kids, and I'm pretty sure I have that one as an ornament somewhere. Sorry though, please continue.
I think I have a similar ornament on my tree.
Yeah. Those things were pretty popular back when we were kids, man. No question about it.
Yeah. I went with Barney because my brother, when I was little, I loved Barney.
Uh-huh.
My little brother, he loved Barney, so that's something we shared. And he was very much into WWE to the day he passed, and I was into WWE back in the 90s, early 2000s at the rise of the Undertaker, who was my favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I remember him. I was right there. I was a big Hulk Hogan kid, but I remember the Undertaker.
Okay. So Barney dressed as the Undertaker just seemed perfect for us as brothers.
That's awesome, man. What a cool idea, and what a cool memorial tattoo, just awesome stuff all the way around, fellas. I appreciate everyone sharing. I want to get to this next question. We're still good on time right now, but it's starting to get there. So I kind of want to dig into this one because I told Matt this story yesterday over the phone. So sorry you're gonna have to hear it twice, Matt. But you're gonna
tell a story that hurts your calf.
Yeah, dude, well, little backstory here. When I was 21 years old, I was a very avid wakeboarder. I used to try to do all sorts of flips and twists and turns that I was not qualified to do. And that all adds up to a catastrophic knee blowout, right? ACL, MCL, fractured the bottom of my femur, tore my meniscus. It was chaos. But they damaged some nerves in the outside of my left leg when they reconstructed my knee. And I don't really have much feeling towards kind of the outer half of my shin and kind of going around to the backside of my leg on the outside. So recently, my latest free tattoo I've gotten from my wife is a really cool Oregon Duck design that she did, and I wanted to get that on my left calf. And I thought everything was cool because I figured, hey, she's going to get around to that numb part, and I'm just going to fall asleep here on the table. I won't even notice it. You guys, it was like somebody hooked up a cattle prod to a fucking car battery and hit me with it. I felt electricity through my whole body, all the way to my fingers. I was twitching on the table. I couldn't control myself. And, it's one thing when you have a tattoo artist and that person's looking at you going, oh, wow, this person's going through something. Try that with your wife. Like, I think she had, the next thing was a club, and she was just going to put me to sleep and finish the tattoo because I was being a nuisance. And so I want to know from you guys, because that was by far and away, head and shoulders, knees and toes above, as far as pain is concerned, the worst tattoo that I've had. I want to talk to you guys because, I look at Mike Redbeard's tattoo across his back, dude. That thing goes from tip to tip and point to point. There had to be some painful spots in there. So let's talk about it, kind of considering all the tattoo work that we've all got collectively. And Matt, since you may have been thinking about it a little bit since we talked about it yesterday, let's start with you. What's the most pain that a tattoo needle's caused you?
Honestly, I haven't had enough tattoos to actually experience a lot of pain. The pectoral tattoos were a little bit tough, but other than that, nothing really bothered me.
Fellas,
overall.
And fellas, to everybody listening right now, I just want to say that's the nicest way that Matt can call me a pussy on this podcast without actually saying the words.
So, I don't think I did, but no, I really tattoo when I was 14.
Rule breaker.
You know?
How are you guys finding these places? I wanted tattoos when I was 14, 15, and 16.
Listen, Marcus, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be here talking about it. I can tell you that much. Because my dad was going to have things my dad doesn't believe in. He does not believe in tattoos, and he does not believe in a man having earrings or piercings.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to deal with that with my dad as well. My dad's rule was if you want an earring, I'm the one piercing your ear. And I wanted that earring really bad, and he did it, but that was the only one I ever got.
Yeah, you're lucky because my dad would have rather. I'm pretty sure my dad could have put me 6 feet under versus me dealing with an earring. Mm-hmm. My mom saved my ass.
Yeah, he would have said, "I'm going to pierce the ear like my dad did," but he would have shot you in the temple with it.
Yep.
All right, so not a lot of pain for you from your tattoos. Totally understandable.
No, not really.
Donut, you've only got the one, man. Let's talk about it. How painful was it? Were you surprised by the amount of pain, or was it kind of underwhelming and you thought it was going to hurt more? What were you dealing with there?
Well, so I in general have an aversion to needles, but everybody knows there's a huge difference between needle at the doctor's office and needle at the tattoo shop.
Yep. But
I was expecting a lot of things. I fell asleep.
Okay, so not that bad for you. I like it, man. The ones that I've had on my arm, I could totally fall asleep during, or have conversations. Just kind of hang out and chill. But that's the ideal place, right? To get them is the place where you can fall asleep during it, have a nap.
It was right on my shoulder blade. The tattoo artist actually told me this might hurt a little bit. There's a lot of bone here. It might be uncomfortable. Yeah. At the time, I was like 160 and I'm 6 foot. So I was pretty bony at the time.
Yeah, pretty skinny, I was going to say.
Yeah. And he's like, this is going to hurt. And I kind of felt the dot. And I'm like, well, this ain't anything. I've been through worse walking through my house.
Okay. All right. So again, Drew, we'll go to you here next, but that was Donut Duncan there calling me a pussy as well. So you guys have great ways to do it. I like how you kind of are thinly veiling this and you're not focusing it on me, but we are all just remembering that I was the guy squirming that my wife had to hold down by the ankle while she finished the tattoo. So Drew, before we go to Redbeard, because he's completely covered and I know he's going to have some stories, Drew, talk to me about your most painful one. I've heard the hands can get pretty terrible when you're dealing with that. Lots of bones, lots of little moving parts in there. Was that your most painful?
Well, Marcus, all I got to say is the next time you get a tattoo, quit being a sissy girl and leave your purse at home, okay?
Yeah, I deserve that. I could just take a Xanax, too, but I'm not going to do that. I'll be a man about it.
There you go. And Donut just wants to look cool, but really, as soon as that needle hit his arm, he passed out. He didn't fall asleep. He just passed out.
Hey, man, it works. As long as the tattoo artist doesn't ask, it works, right?
Right. No, whenever people ask me if tattoos hurt, I tell them, well, yeah, they hurt. It's just, it's not like a horrible pain or anything. It's something tolerable.
Mm-hmm.
The hands for me, the worst part was it felt kind of like they were just going over skin continuously, so it just felt kind of raw.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really wasn't that bad. The one on my leg, it hurt right behind the kneecap.
Yeah.
It doesn't go up that high, but anywhere down there on your calf or anything, it just like creeps up right behind your knee, and it feels like they're just ripping at it. So
I feel like you legitimized me a little bit there because I didn't get that weird nerve shock feeling until she worked around the side of my calf. But when you're talking about like anywhere from the middle of my calf all the way up to the knee, it felt like she was working on the same place that entire time, and it was painful.
Yeah, and I mean, like I sit like a rock when it comes to getting tattoos done. I don't really move a whole lot or anything. So I mean, yeah, they hurt, but I mean, just while you're getting it, and then maybe like 10 minutes afterwards, and by the time you're out of the shop and paid up, it don't hurt no more. So Get over it.
Yeah, so leave my purse at home, like you said. I appreciate the advice. I do.
Kind of a vicious group there.
Hey, you know what? I can take it, man. I got thick skin here, and hey, I know that for some people, like I've heard some horror stories from my wife where people have just cried all the way through their tattoos, and so that's kind of why I wanted to ask the question, is to get some different perspectives, because you know, I would have told you the same thing before my last tattoo, Drew. I would have said, I sit like a rock. And then I almost danced off the table on my toes because I was in so much pain. So I guess it's different places on the body too. And Redbeard, I think that's where we go to you here for some real extensive experience, because not only do you have a lot of tattoos covering a lot of square footage on your body, but you also got some of those in prison where I can imagine they're not really that concerned about the customer service aspect of a tattoo service.
Yeah, very true. Very true. First and foremost, I want to say something about getting your, like, a lady's name tattooed on you or something like that, because that's one of the first ones that I got when I was in prison. Mm-hmm. And she left me for my sister while I was locked up. So, yeah.
Damn, dude.
Keeping it in the family.
Good Lord, man.
Next week on The Real Housewives of Liquid Trucking.
Yeah.
Wow, your woman left you for your sister.
Yeah. But it's all good. My sister was happy, so for a while at least.
Well, it's good that it wasn't 100% bad, but yeah. I think Matt's had a couple more beers over the course of this podcast. I'm not 100% sure.
Holy shit.
So, but lesson learned there, Mike. It sounds like was that the last name you've had tattooed on your body since?
Well, yeah, other than my kids' names, but yeah.
Okay,
so moving on to the worst tattoo that I've ever gotten. It was in prison. I was locked up in the hole. I was in the hole for a year because I was selling carburetor cleaner on the yard because people were huffing it and getting high. So they put me in the hole for a year. Well, luckily I got sold up with somebody who liked to tattoo. And, I got a lot of tattoos in the hole. But anyways, there was this one that we wanted to do, and it was like a bionic dragon head. It had a shit ton of detail in it, like a shit ton. And, we were able to do tattoos in the hole because we were able to have like cassette players and CD players to listen to radio while we're in the hole. So, we used the motors out of those. Anyways, I digress. So we decided to put that on my left side, going from the top of my rib cage down to like,
oh God,
like the fatty, meaty part of my hip.
Yeah.
Or not my hip, but above my hip.
Gotcha.
Anyways, yeah, dude, 13 hours straight. And I was making noises that I didn't even know I could make. He was a pretty tough dude, so he was calling me a pussy the entire time, like, shut up, piggy, pussy, and yeah, I was like, dude, it hurts. I mean, this is a needle made out of freaking like a lighter spring.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it's not exactly built for efficiency.
Yeah. But anyways, 13 hours. And then like immediately after we were done, this dude wanted to wrestle around in the cell. So, I'm like wrestling around with them. We have our shirts off, and that's not a good idea to do right after you get a tattoo, especially on a dirty floor and shit. So we got infected, and I ended up getting staph infection.
Oh no!
In it, and like 90% of the ink fell out of it. So he was like, "Oh, that's not going to work." So we went back over it again, over scar tissue.
Oh. And on that pig belly, like kind of, that skin that never gets touched over there on the side of your rib cage too. Like I was just, when you said that, I was thinking about how when I was a kid, like if you were doing something bad or your dad wanted to get you, just a little bit, he'd just kind of reach in and pinch just a little bit right there. And it wakes your whole world up. Like I think that we're just not supposed to be touched there. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. By far the worst tattoo I've ever had. Like, my back hurt, don't get me wrong, but it is nothing compared to what I went through on that side piece, because that was, I mean, dude, I'll send you a picture of the details that are in this bionic dragon head, which we named Carlos, by the way.
Okay.
Is very intricate, and you'll probably be able to see the scar where I had staph infection at, because it started eating away my skin a little bit. You know what I mean? It turned black a little bit. Yeah, it was bad, dude. And so we waited for that to heal up before we went back over it. But yeah, that was by far the worst.
I got a question for you. Did they give you medicine for that?
Yeah, they gave me antibiotics, and they quarantined me and my celly for like 3 days just to make sure that it wasn't going to spread.
Sure.
Oh man, staph infection ain't nothing to play with.
No, it's really not, man. That's crazy. It's like, well, we quarantined him, but one of them came out with 16 more tattoos, so I don't know if that was the right idea.
No,
tell you right now.
Quarantine. We were locked up in like this clean room with nothing but the clothes on our back. We weren't allowed to take a shower or nothing, dude. It was weird for being quarantined.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. Well, we were in the hole, so they were like, they don't get shit, you know?
Yeah. Sure.
Hey, Redbeard, Marcus, can I interrupt you guys real quick?
Please.
Hey, I hate to do it to you. I'm pulling up to a customer, and I have to call them and go and get loaded and everything. So I just want to say thanks for having me on and everything, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Hey, absolutely. That's Drew Hearn. And guys, this is great because we've had a couple of scenarios on this that can allow you to see how we do it. Drew, go take care of that customer. Thanks for your time here on the Liquid Trucking Podcast today. We'll talk to you next time, okay?
Yep,
bye, Julie.
Yep, have a good time at home, you guys. We'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good one, Drew.
Bro.
Yep.
Man, must be tough on him to be out there actually working today. You guys wouldn't know anything about that, though, would you?
Well, I did text Corey and say put him to work. So
very cool.
I earned my home time. Thank you very much.
Yep. No, you guys all earn your home time, man. And I do joke, you know, I got jokes for sure, but the respect is real for what you guys do, and I think you greatly deserve every bit of home time that you get. And I feel spoiled that you guys would even pick up the phone and call me. You know, you guys never really try to call me on my home time and watch how far away I can be from the phone at any given moment when I don't want to answer it. So, again, the level of respect coming from you, from me to you guys, you'll never understand how much it really is. And I appreciate the time today too. Drew's just a slightly premature there, but we've got to get moving anyway. We've gone for almost 50 minutes here today, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out some space here for our final thoughts from Matt, Donut, and Redbeard. Redbeard, we'll go ahead and start with you. Final thoughts, and thank you for joining us today on our Road Art episode.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure. Anytime you guys want to hear more about my tattoos, because most of them do have meanings, just hit me up. Marcus has got my number. You know, the office has my number. But, or if you guys need anything at all, you know, I've been, you know, here for almost 3 years now, so I know a little bit. I'm still a greenhorn compared to these other guys, but, you know, I'm here to help if you guys need help. Other than that, man, I appreciate you, Marcus. This was really fun. It was cool to talk about my experiences and my tattoos and what they mean and how they've affected me and my family. So I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you being willing to come on and tell the story too, Mike. You know, sometimes that stuff's not easy for people to talk about, and you've always been really open with your past and talking about the changes that you made and everything on this show, and we greatly appreciate that. I feel like that's the real human interest part of this podcast, that people like to hear those stories, and especially when they have happy endings, which, you know, your story isn't over yet, but so far the sun has set on the bad times, and here you are 3 years in with Liquid Trucking, and things are going great. So thank you very much for the experience today. Always appreciate you, and we'll definitely get you back on to talk more about them again. How about you, Donut Duncan? Also named Michael, but we called him Donut today so that I didn't butcher the names. This is totally a handicap that we made for me. So appreciate you letting us call you by your CB handle as always, Donut. But final thoughts for us today before we let you go?
Yeah, well, I've also been. I came onto Liquid a little after Redbeard. There, I'm on my third year with Liquid as well. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to tattoos, it doesn't matter if like it has a lot of meaning, the tattoo itself and the subject matter on it, or if it's just meaning in the fact that you got this tattoo in this place at this time. It could be random silliness, just so that you love it.
Right. It's just got to be something that you love. Like I think that's the whole idea behind it. As long as you can look at it in the mirror, doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks, right?
Exactly. And everything's a milestone. It's from a place in your life. Some of us have the Fat Panther, and my tattoo on my right shoulder faded. It looks like a child's chalk drawing now. But
well, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, still meaningful stuff, and we'll look forward to doing a revisit of this once you've bled out that tattoo fund a little bit and gone after some of these planned ones that you have in the works. I would love to see some pictures of those once you actually get some work done on them.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. We're almost there.
Awesome. Well, Michael Duncan, thank you for the time. Matt Cleach, last but not least, my friend, joining us from Home Time. Final thoughts for us today, and again, thank you for the time.
Hey, I appreciate it, Marcus. The boys on here today were awesome. Love them all. We're all part of the same big company. And Marcus, you and I spoke yesterday, and we're really impressed by you, really, because of what you're doing.
Hey,
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We had a pretty in-depth conversation yesterday, and really looking to see what you got coming up. But most of all, I think with all these guys' story, there's just a backstory for everybody, and there's a ton of us that have a backstory, and through OFC Schmidt and Bardo, including yourself, Marcus. From what it sounds like, that there's quite a few of us on this phone call that could have carried some purses compared to Mike when it comes to getting tattoos, Oh, yeah, I think he's got us topped for sure.
I think so too, man. I'm packing his and probably all of your guys's as well. I'm holding pockets in prison is what I'm telling you.
Well,
hey, dude, that's not a thing, bro.
Good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, good conversation, great stories. Can't wait to hear some more. And to everybody out here, the truck drivers and, the podcasters that are putting it out here, if it wasn't for you, Marcus, and OFC, we wouldn't have a place to talk about it. So, thanks to everybody.
Yeah, well said there, man, and thank you very much. All we want to do is give Liquid drivers a voice on this show, and as you guys have demonstrated here today, we can talk about just about anything. That is my cross to bear. You can put me in a room with the most boring person in the world, and I will talk to them about whatever boring shit they want to talk about because I can't help myself. So I'm in the right place, okay? And I want to encourage all of you guys, if you're out there listening right now and you've been thinking about it, but maybe you're waffling, get in touch with me. Let's have a conversation like Matt and I did off the air, and maybe we can talk you in or find a good topic for you. There's been a lot of drivers that have gone about it that way. My goal here is to just get as many of you on, telling as many stories as we can. You guys were fantastic today. I really appreciate it. And we'll get you all back in here again. This was a group of vets today. You guys are coming back. I'm not worried about that.
We'll be back.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, real quick, you guys want to say hi to of my partial family real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody say hi.
Hi, family. Yeah, I got a party horn for that. That's exciting. The great way to finish this one out, fellas. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the home time, except for Drew. And we'll talk to you guys again. Thanks. The Liquid Trucking Podcast. That's Matt. That's Donut and Redbeard. You fellas take care, okay?
You too.
Have a good one, Marcus.
Great stuff there from Mike, Michael, Drew, and Matt. Appreciate you guys as always. Great group of guys there talking about their road art. I love it, man. That was a fun conversation. Always love to laugh with you guys. I feel like I'm one of the drivers when we get into a conversation like that. We're just kind of kicking stuff around and BSing. And remember, if you listen to that and that conversation intrigued you and you think you might want to be on this show, all you got to do is send us an email or reach out to me directly. The email is podcast@liquidtrucking.com. If you don't have my phone number, ask any one of the drivers that you hear on this program. They will hook you up with it. In the interest of time, I really want to get to this next bit. Now, I teased this a little bit in the intro, but I want to set it up for you. We've started a new live stream called Rubberside Down. This is independent of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. It's going to be every third Wednesday on our Facebook page called Rubberside Down. You can go there and check it out. But really what happened on our very first episode, which was March 19th, we talked to Jason Eisenman and Aaron Dufour, who's a driver for Liquid, about tragedy that struck Aaron and how the Liquid trucking community as well as the trucking community at large can step up and help him. I've got my audio ninja Mike, who's already clipped down that interview. We're going to replay it for you right here. And just a heads up, I'm not really sure what was going on. We're dealing with some technical difficulties during this whole thing and trying to figure out exactly what the live streaming game is all about. As you guys know, I record this stuff 2 weeks in the past. I mean, this has been done for a long time. Like, significant life events have taken place by the time you hear this. From the time I recorded it. So the live thing is, well, it's not new to my career. It's new to do on the internet and new to figure it out. And we had a little bit of a technical hiccup, so we didn't get to talk to Jason and Aaron at the same time, but we talked to them back to back. And here is that interview from the Rubberside Down podcast. Okay, this next segment of the program, I am being joined by a couple gentlemen that work for Liquid Trucking out of Plattsmouth, Nebraska. And in building a trucking community, what we want to do is help truckers, okay? If one of you guys is in need, you got to reach out to us and let us know. We will do our best to help. That's what happened here. Joining me now on the show, we've got the Vice President of HR and Safety from Liquid Trucking in Plattsmouth, Nebraska, Jason Eisenman on the line. Jason, really appreciate you being here, my friend. How you doing today?
Good, Marcus. Good to be on the show. Thanks for having us.
Well, I need to say thank you to you because you're the one that brought this to my attention. We're also joined today by Liquid driver Aaron Dufour. Aaron, we appreciate you coming on the show as well, man. Thanks for being here. Oh, looks like Aaron's call just dropped. We'll get him back in a second. Jason, let's talk a little bit here while Aaron calls us back about exactly what happened. Now, I'm very familiar with Liquid Trucking as a company. I know them to be a great community. They're greatly involved in their community, but they always have their drivers' backs. They're always trying to help out their drivers. Is there anything that you can tell me about this situation before we get Aaron back on?
Yeah, absolutely. The quick rundown, we're a small family-owned mid-sized tanker fleet out of the Midwest, and even though we run all over the U.S., the small knit communities, kind of kicking into action here with regard to one of our drivers who lives down in Oklahoma had a brush fire that went through Oklahoma, grass fire, whatever you call it, and it destroyed lots of homes, lots of ground, lots of livestock. And when we found out about it, of course, we did the best to get him routed home because he was out on the road doing his trucker thing. And, he lost everything. So the entire family lost all their structures, all their livestock, their home, everything they own, all gone. And I'm, as a company, we're just looking for ways to get the word out inside the trucking community because it's, that's who usually stands up and fights for one another the best is inside the community. And we appreciate the opportunity to get it out in front of your audience today and see if they can help donate a buck or two here and there to get Aaron and his family on the way to, building some stuff back.
Absolutely. And we're more than happy to provide the platform for such a thing, Jason. And, I think that, based on what I've seen in the trucking community, this is the perfect place for something like this. We know the drivers are out there listening, and we have a lot of places we can put this. Mike is actually going to go ahead and share. If he hasn't already, you might have already seen it. We have a GoFundMe link here for Aaron. If you would like to chip in a couple of bucks to help his family recover from this, it would be greatly appreciated. And I'll tell you, just from seeing a few of the pictures, When you say everything, Jason, I mean, I saw a picture that was literally just the frame and a burnt out propane tank that used to be what I think was a camp trailer. There was nothing left of that thing, and there was nothing left of the structure that it was in.
No, and we're all sitting back here at the terminal thinking, man, how do we help Aaron and his family? Because you hear about tragedy all the time. There's a lot of other people this has affected. There's lots of tragedy across the country right now. There's storms, tornadoes. And all we can do is help the folks that are closest to us, that we know that their lives are impacted. And, literally, when I saw the photos, it's scorched earth. Everything in its path, just like a tornado, but scorched earth. And, we're heartbroken for Aaron and his family and his wife, and looking to rally some support any way we can.
Well, that's great. And we really appreciate you bringing it to us. I've been waiting for Aaron to call back in here. Looks like maybe he's, listen, this happens. Sometimes drivers get caught up. They're doing something. They gotta show up for a delivery, or they got to get loaded. Maybe he just lost service out in the mountains somewhere. Apologies to you, Aaron, if you are listening, that we haven't been able to get you back on here yet. But this is not the only time that we're going to talk about helping Aaron and his family out here. Those brush fires that rip through Oklahoma, Texas this time of year, they are devastating, and they'll be on you in the drop of a hat with the type of winds that they get. It's just devastating. And, especially knowing that the guy, Aaron, is out there on the road and not able to be right there with his family when this whole thing happened. It just melts my heart, man. And Jason, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and talking about this story, giving these drivers a chance to step up and help Aaron. Once again, the GoFundMe link is going to be in all of the chats. Mike's already put it in there. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. If you want to help Aaron out, he's one of your brethren. He's one of the guys out there just like you, who's putting miles behind him to earn a paycheck. And circumstance took everything from him. So let's stand behind him. Let's lift another trucker up here. If there's one thing we can do on the very first Rubber Side Down podcast that will blow my head off, let's help out Aaron and get him on the road to recovery. Go click that GoFundMe link. Toss him a couple bucks if you've got it. Jason Eisenman, VP of HR and Safety from Liquid Trucking. Listen, man, I have to thank you again. I don't know that any of the people listening to the show will know how instrumental you have been in my podcasting journey when it comes to truckers. So giant thanks from the bottom of my heart, Jason Eisenman, for coming on and bringing us this story and everything you've done for those of us in the podcasting world going back.
Absolutely. I appreciate it so much. We'll talk soon.
I know we will. Thanks, Jason. And listen, if you're looking for, this is not a paid advertisement. This is not from, and nobody told me to do this. Let's put it that way. You're looking for a hell of a trucking company and you got your tanker endorsement. Why don't you look up Liquid Trucking out of Plattsmouth, Nebraska? I'll leave it at that. If you can't tell just by the short conversation as I just had with their VP of HR and Safety, it's a good place to work. Don't take my word for it. Call them yourself and see. Okay. Guys, we're pushing on the end of the program here. And you know what? Before we get into that, I have another guy from Liquid that chimed into the chat here that wanted to add to the story about Aaron. Wait. Hey, Aaron's calling back right now. Perfect. Thank you, Aaron, for calling back. This is Aaron DeFore. I'm sorry for being really excited, Aaron, just to get you on the air because we just let Jason go, but I'm so glad that you called back. Aaron DeFore from Liquid Trucking, the one that we're talking about here. Thanks for joining us today, man. Very sorry to hear about the tragedy that struck you and your family.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me on.
Of course. We've shared the GoFundMe link in all the chats. We're hoping that this community of drivers that we're trying to build here are going to stand up and help you as best as they can if they've got it to spare. Jason told us it was a brush fire and you're from Oklahoma. I have a feeling that it was probably kind of lucky that anybody that was at the house got out in time. I hear these things move pretty fast, Aaron.
Correct. Yeah. So I was on the road and my wife was at work, so we weren't home personally, but my next door neighbors just a few hundred feet south of me, they were home and they're like, "Did you smell the smoke?" "Yeah, we smelled some smoke." They opened up their front door and all their trees is an inferno. and they barely made it out with their animals. So, in our immediate acreage, we have 12-acre parcels where on the street that I live in. On the immediate street that I live on, there's at least 40 acres that was involved, and so there's no deaths in our immediate area. But statewide, I heard that there was 4 deaths, and then a firefighter fell over with exhaustion. So it did overall turn out to be very sad in that respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, sad too, because I know you guys lost a lot of livestock. You lost, you know, chicken, sheep, things that people that don't work on farms or never have worked on a farm or had any type of livestock might just look at that as, oh, those are animals that you just see dollar signs. I know that not to be the case. I know people get attached to every animal that they bring along and they bring up, and it's got to be just devastating for you, Aaron. But I'm so happy to hear that your family made it out okay. Things can be replaced. Obviously, people cannot. We know that.
Right. Thank you.
No problem, Aaron. We've shared the GoFundMe link. You're listening to the guy that it happened to right now. If you want to help him out, he's a fellow truck driver. He could really use it. Head on over to the GoFundMe link that Mike has shared in the chats at YouTube, Facebook, and of course on Twitch. And Aaron, I just wanted to read this to you real quick now that I have you on the line, because I've got a comment here from Nick Meyer at Liquid Trucking, and he says, I remember when I recruited Aaron, he and his wife spent weeks praying about which company to join next. I hope here at Liquid that we can do him justice about making what I feel is the right choice. I hope that makes you feel good, man. Liquid Trucking is really glad to have you as a driver on board. And I just hope that this amount of time that we took to put your story out there brings in a couple bucks, man, and helps that road to recovery get a little bit shorter, Aaron.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I do. Liquid Trucking has been a stand-up company in so many aspects. And I'm glad the Lord brought me to this company, because there's so many companies out there that are just not up to par. We'll put it that way. But so far, Liquid Trucking has always been stand up, and they're safety first, and they've always taken care of guys. I've heard many stories about other truckers in various situations that they've helped out. And they really try to do a family. You're not just a number. So I'm very appreciative.
Well, we're very appreciative of you coming on and telling your story today, Aaron. We hope that the listeners of the Rubber Side Down podcast head over to GoFundMe and start shelling out right now. Let's get you back on your feet. Take care of yourself. Call in the show anytime you want. We'd love to talk to you as things start to get better for you. You can keep us updated on your progress. Okay, Aaron?
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem, Aaron. Take care of yourself out there. That's Aaron DeFore from Liquid Trucking. Terrible fire. And just get to that GoFundMe link and help him out right now, please, for all of us. It's what we do. We're a community. We're going to help each other out. All right, guys, go and help Aaron out. Look in the description for this podcast episode. You will find the GoFundMe link there. Even if you can only give a couple of bucks, it's really going to help Aaron and his family out right now. If you've seen some of the pictures that I've seen, it's horrendous what happened, man. It's always blows me away to see how little is left after a fire sweeps through, and especially in a dead flat place like Oklahoma, where once a brush fire gets started, it ain't stopping until the wind does. And that's really what it sounds like happened to Aaron here. So super tragic stuff, but I know that you guys at Liquid Trucking and beyond step up to help your own. So go donate whatever you can. If you can't share any money, you can't donate anything to Aaron, just share it on your social media. That helps too. Anything that we can do for him, he is in need right now, he and his family, and just it's so tragic to me when things out of your control happen like that and upset the balance so much. So please go help Aaron, and I want to thank Jason and Aaron both for coming on the Rubber Side Down show and telling that story. Super powerful stuff. We want to do everything we can to help. that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Thank you to all the drivers that came on the show to talk about their road art, and thank you to all of you beyond that who have sent in pictures of your tattoos to be shared up on the website. Don't forget to go over to liquidtrucking.com, click the podcast banner at the top of the page, and check out that gallery of tattoos from your fellow drivers. I've been Marcus. You be safe out there. Keep the shiny side up. We will see you next week for episode 72.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.